Hey, this is Jason, and I want to talk to you about something that is super foundational for me and really for everything that we do, even to help churches reach more people through digital creativity. John chapter 1 is one of my favorite passages, and right, verse 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Like, we know that, it sounds poetic, and what's so fascinating to me about that is the word word, right, is logos, which was in the first century was a very Platonic word. It was it was Greek philosophy, that the word, this logos realm that dwelt somewhere else. But then in verse 14, the author turns the whole conversation, right? John says, this Greek philosophy, this unknowable God has become one of us. He became flesh and he made his dwelling. Like, that wasn't even possible, according to Plato, that anything from that word realm, that godness, could ever become flesh, could ever dwell here in this created world. But that's the message, that God has met with us. Like, he came here. He's holy, right? Separate, set apart, but he came and met us right where we are. And then we know the teachings of Jesus that fire us up and that change our lives, that he not only met us and came here, but he wasn't like scolding us when he did. I mean, he challenged us, but he says that he loved us, like, right? And even while we were yet sinners, like, Christ loved us and died for us. Like, talk about meeting us where we are. And I know missionaries all over the planet, and some of you do too, I'm sure, and many of you probably even more so, who go and they learn the language and they adapt to they take that really it's the whole ministry and message of Jesus. They go and they learn the culture, they become like an ambassador for the kingdom of heaven into that culture and learning that language. Well, here's the deal, like, you and I, even if we're in a culture where we know the language and we were raised here, then I think we should have that same ministry. We should have that same message. We should be taking these timeless truths, these wonders about God, and then make them known with the languages of today. We should speak the language of our people. So for me, marketing is so much less about being trendy as it is just about speaking the language of our culture, about taking the good news and bringing it to everyone around, taking the message that we put on us. The truth is, right now, most people today, right now, are within just a few feet of their cell phone. It has our attention. It's the language of today. So if that's where they're looking, let's look there. If that's the language that they're speaking, then let's speak there. That will mean social media. And not just like, yeah, let's post some advertisements there, but let's engage where our culture is. Let's participate. Yeah, maybe for some of you, you need to set some boundaries on what that looks like for you. One boundary for those of us that might get a little bit too addicted or might spend a little bit too much time or don't want to look at stuff that they know that they should be is the scrolling. Man, just set a boundary on how much you're gonna scroll. But go on there and look for conversations, talk to people, take the kingdom message that God has given you and begin to speak it in ways that the people in our community, those in our churches, those in our schools, those in our streets, those in the grocery stores, they're already there. They're already talking about it there. It's really hard for us to meet people in suburban United States. It is. Everyone's driving somewhere, everyone's busy, but you know where they're not? You know where they're looking for content? You know where they're looking for a conversation? I think you do. They're already doing it. It's social media, and I just want to encourage you, get engaged, not because it's trendy, but because you have a ministry.
Thanks for watching. If you've got questions, put them in the comments below so we can answer them in a future video. See you next time.